First, I have some very good news and a really hopeful hint today from the Prime Minister. Now, I get it. I know some people have been upset with me for what I've been saying since Monday. And some journalists were going out of their trees and other publications, etc. For me, saying that if we now step up protection for the old and the sick, and if we step up quarantining of the infectious, and boy, some news on that front, then in 2 weeks, I think we could start to ease some of the restrictions on everyone else. In fact, we must. We can't keep 25 million Australians prisoners in their homes for the 6 months that the government keeps telling us, and we must start getting more people back to work. Well, like I said, very good news today. Prime Minister Scott Morrison gave his first hint, a small one, doesn't want to give mixed messages or spread false hope. He gave his first hint that these devastating restrictions might not have to last for those 6 months, not all of them anyway.
But the National Cabinet is also very focused on the road out as well. We've talked about 6-month periods, and that is true. They're not a guarantee. It could be longer. We pray it's shorter.
Now, it was a small hint, but in fact he said it 2 or 3 times because he knows there is no way we can keep up all these bans for 6 months. Home detention without really hurting people or destroying our economy.
The budget is only so big, and the restrictions that people live under can only be lived under for so long. And so that's why it's important that we continue to look at it all the time as a national cabinet, and that we calibrate these things to how the country's moving, how they're responding, and that's why we are so grateful for their support.
Okay, let me go to some of the reasons you're now getting these hints that this nightmare may not last as long as you've been told. The first is, of course, that the spread of the virus has been slowing dramatically from the frightening rates of a couple of weeks ago, when it was going up by 35% a day and you had all these apocalyptic predictions. Now that rate of spread has gone down to just a bit above 4% in the past 24 hours. From 35% increase every day, 4%. That's incredible. Now, of course, it needs to come down more, but that rate is more than manageable for now. Although caution, the winter flu season, of course, is still to come. Diseases like that really can take off in the cold, and we need to really close off Aboriginal communities. With their health problems in those communities, this virus could get very ugly. But here is another positive thing. Unfortunately, most of the states won't actually tell you how many people are now recovering from this virus. But Victoria does. And when you look there, you will find there's actually been a fall in the number of people who are sick. 16 fewer people than 2 days ago. It's not much, but it's going down. Now, yes, people are still catching the virus, but fewer people are sick at any one time, which means there is no way that we will be running out of emergency beds. As the Macquarie University, some of their researchers recklessly predicted just last week, sent a real scare going. And nor are we going to see the 150,000 dead here, which was the scare a fortnight ago in many newspapers. The death toll is not trending to 150,000, it's now 28, which is tragic. But the latest 3 deaths, well, they're all people who got infected on cruise ships or overseas. And that means that's one avenue we've actually closed off now. They're Australians, these last ones, in their mid-70s, and a passenger who was a foreign national on the Tania. He was in his 60s. Now, once again, in saying that, we see the people we should be really protecting are the old people, and often sick as well. That's a real sign of that you could really cop it. Every one of our dead has been older than 70, except for 3 still in their 60s, but they included a woman with cancer and a man with serious underlying health issues. So protecting people like that should soon become our top priority, not imprisoning everyone else. And the reason we can now start planning for this gradual shift, hopefully this month, see if it works, stop if it doesn't. The reason we can prepare for it is that the Morrison government and the premiers can claim a magnificent victory now in keeping the deaths so low. Now, of course, I wanted flight bans earlier, and the restrictions since then have actually worked, and they've bought us time to prepare.
Had we not taken the measures we'd already taken just 12 days ago, there'd be 5,000 more people with the virus right now. I can absolutely assure you that social distancing, combined with the many other measures we've put in place, is saving lives.
The time to prepare the exit strategy now, and it seems the Prime Minister may just be agreeing, quietly.